Out to the north and the east, it was a pretty much perfect day for getting the crops off the fields. Sunny, dry, hot. Couldn't ask for better conditions. Now what the crops were yielding, I really don't know. It's been a hot, dry summer up in this Three Hills Trochu country. A good year though for roadside crab apples, apparently. And the flies that were bugging this horse. But just like throughout the rest of southern Alberta, a lot of the sloughs I'd visited earlier were mostly dried up. They'd held enough water to raise families of killdeers and gadwalls and other small ducks. But though most of them were pretty dry, there was one slough that I'd been to a couple of months ago that still had some water. And there were lots of little wading birds there. Sandpipers, willets, these yellow legs, and one that was a bit of a surprise. This is the furthest north I've ever seen a bald-faced ibis. Goldfinches, sure, I've seen them. Didn't expect to see them right here, but I've seen them. But this ibis, it surprised me. They're fairly common on the sloughs further south, but I've never seen one up here on the edge of the parkland before. Pretty cool. But not as cool as this guy. I love turkey vultures. I know they don't have the most handsome face, but look at those wings. I get a little bit excited every time I see one. Or two, as it turned out. Maybe it's because they're, a little bit of a rarity. We don't see them that often, but I just love these guys. The combines kept churning through the fields, but I got distracted by all the fall color. It hasn't really taken hold yet, but at places like Dry Island, Buffalo Jump, it is turning. The leaves are starting to get a little bit bright. But there is still a lot of green here in the Red Deer River Valley, until you start looking into the undergrowth among all those big cottonwoods. Then there's color everywhere. The small stuff is always the first to change. The roses, the saskatoons, the chokecherries, and of course the grasses. I love how the grass transitions. It's gorgeous. Out of the valley, I found the spray plane I'd been hearing all day, and I put up my little copter to have a look at the rolling countryside. The aspens here are still green, but in a couple more weeks, it's going to be gorgeous. Just like this day had been. It had felt like midsummer, hot and dry. But it actually is mid-September, and there's a bit of a rush to get the crops off the field, especially with rain about to fall. Like I said, I don't know how those crops are yielding, but these chubby antelope appeared to have a pretty good summer. And of course, a little rain isn't going to bother them. But that storm was moving in pretty quickly, and it put an end to both the combining and my day. Turkey vultures, an ibis, chubby antelope, and rain. A perfect day to the north and the east.